Hi, this is Kathie from Craft with Kathie. Thanks for joining me this evening. I hope everyone's having a nice pre-Independence Day today. If you've had the day off and made it an extended weekend, I think that's cool. If not, you have tomorrow off, right? I'm going to do a quick little t-shirt tonight. I have this transferred called This Is Not a Drill. Well, this is not a drill, and actually I realize I have one of the transfers missing from here. I did not put it back in its little envelope, and it happens to be, of course, the one that says This Is Not a Drill. It's a picture of a hammer, and underneath it says This Is Not a Drill, which I know someone who used that for Father's Day. Anyway, the other three transfers on here are Overthinking About Overthinking, Indoorsy, and Overwhelmed. And I am going to actually use Overthinking About Overthinking. So let me cut this out. Remember, our transfers are reusable. If you have never inked before and you feel a little intimidated by it, seriously, it's easy. And now that our ink is available in individual paste packets, like this, just grab a packet or two of ink, pick out your transfer that you want to use, and try it out. It really is as simple as it looks. You don't have to fuzz, because you're putting it on fabric, so you want it to stick as tightly as possible. And basically, it's just like chalking, only you have to, the main thing is you have to be careful to make sure that your fingers are clean. You don't want to accidentally have ink smudged on your fingers. And I am going to actually, I'll show you my little trick with this. And grab a little Sharpie here. I'm going to fold this transfer in half and just kind of pinch it where the middle is, so I know that's where I want to put it, in the middle of my shirt. And then I'm going to put a little Sharpie mark on top of it, so I always know where the center is. I just thought this transfer is great for t-shirts. I mean, it's just such variety and whatever, such cool sayings, right? I'm coming at you from the suburbs west of Chicago. Drop me a line and let me know where you're viewing from. So I'm going to line it up right about here. Want to make sure it's straight. Gently smooth it down. You don't want any air bubbles under the wording. I'm just checking my placement, being that I have the shirt a little folded on the side, so it looked a little strange, but it's in the center. And I know this says youth, but I just moved it down appropriately for an adult. And let me just do a little cleanup. I ended up opening up my ink and getting it on the backer. Let's see, what do I need? I need a squeegee. Would be a nice place to start, and not putting my ink where the sleeve of my shirt was. Just gonna stir this up a little bit. I haven't used it in a while, and it seems a little thick, and I think I'm gonna, you could add water to your ink if it gets a little bit too thick, but I think I'm gonna just run with this. And this is, I think, no, it's Fawn. I was thinking almond, but it's a little bit darker than almond. So it's Fawn, and I'm just going to apply it to my transfer. Squeeze it through the silk screen just by going across it with my squeegee. You don't have to put a lot of pressure or anything. I usually with ink go over my silk screen more than once, just to make sure that it's going through and bonding or being absorbed by the fabric beneath it. And I know I'm going a little heavy here, just because this seems a little thick to me today. I really probably should have watered it down a teensy bit. I was trying to decide, do I want to use eucalyptus on this, or do I want to go with like a lighter tan? And I put the eucalyptus against it and said, nah, I don't like it with the navy, so hence that's what I'm going with, why I'm going with the tan. Or the fawn, it's like a very light tan, an off-white, whatever. So I'm just going over it a little bit again. I'm gonna remove my lines, put the excess back in my jar, and then I'm gonna lift this up slowly to make sure that it has gone through the silk screen evenly. If it has not, I could just lay it down gently again. And just ink over it again. Okay, let me put this on the side, out of the way. I need to do a finger check, and of course I have ink on my finger, so that's the #1 rule of inking. I like keeping a little package of baby wipes handy for my fingers. Never use baby wipes on your transfers because they could impact or reduce the adhesiveness. Okay, clean fingers. Let's check this out. I always lift from the top or the bottom, the left or the right. I'm going to lift up from the right here. Looking good so far. There we go. Overthinking about overthinking. Now I do have my ink mat. I forgot to mention that. Underneath my shirts to make sure that none of the ink could actually go through the top layer and onto the back. I'm going to set this aside to dry, and then once it's dry, which might take a little bit longer because it seems like it's been very humid, we had so much rain yesterday, I'll set it aside to dry, and then when it's dry I'm going to heat set it with my heat press. If you don't have a heat press, you could use an iron. Instructions are pretty similar. You set both to your actual fabric, and with an iron you place a piece of parchment paper on top and then iron it at that temperature for 4 minutes. Turn the shirt inside out, parchment paper down, keep moving the iron for 4 minutes. Keep the iron moving whenever you use the iron. For a heat press, set it to the appropriate temperature for using a heat press for your fabric, and then usually it's about 30 seconds. On one side, turn it inside, use the parchment paper, turn it inside out, parchment paper again, and then the heat press again. And then that's it. There will be no peeling, no lifting, no crackling, no peeling, because it actually bonds with the fabric. And when you run your finger over it, obviously after it's dry and heat set, it'll just feel like the fabric. You won't feel like anything that you do with the vinyl. So that's kind of nice. One of the things that I like about it. But sure, check it out. It's easy to do. I hope everyone has a wonderful and safe 4th. Thanks for stopping by tonight. See you soon.